Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 146 days until Christmas 2025. Oh my goodness. Christmas is getting closer. We're finally past July. We're into August now. And boy, oh boy, it is coming quickly. So good to see you all here today. We've got some Star Wars news to talk about. And we've got this this Xwing model to build, right? I just opened the box last week, but we still need to put some pieces together, put this thing together. So hopefully we'll get to some of that today. Before we do, Star Wars Fitz, first one in the house today. Oh, good to see you, Fitz. He's being good today. He's a happy Friday. Yes, thank you so much, Brandon. Hello, hello there. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. I hope you are having an amazing day too, Brandon. Thanks so much. And let's see. Yes, please remember to do the things. You know, you gotta. It really helps the channel. Like, subscribe, share. Let other folks know what we're doing here. We love Star Wars. Love talking about Star Wars. Hanging out. The Sabersmith. Hey there. Good to see you as well. Last week they announced a new HasLab, and the HasLab is making its way. It's got a ways to go. This, and I'm sure most of you already know about it. If you don't, you can look it up. But they're doing the HasLab gunship from Attack of the Clones, and next year, 2026, is going to focus on the Battle of Geonosis, in which the gunship would be pivotal. And you know, once they get into the mainline releases, you're not going to be able to go back and get this. You got to get it now if you're going to get it. So if you're a prequels fan, you're really into those, would love to be able to build out a set around the Battle of Geonosis. What better could you do than to have a gunship? Now, you have to budget, because these things are not cheap. It's $450 US, which is quite the investment. And they need 8,000 backers in order to release the project. And then there are unlocks that go all the way up to like 14,000 backers if they get that high. And right now they are standing at 2,700, and they've been getting roughly 100 new backers a day. There's still 38 days to go. If they stuck at the 3,800 or 38 a day, they would end up at 6,500, which would be short of the 8,000 needed. So, and we also know the last few days, the volume picks up tremendously. So I don't expect that it'll stay at 100 a day. And it's trucking along at 100. That's great. It'd be wonderful if it got more. I am not planning to back this one. It doesn't fit in. I have to limit my collection. I'm going with Mando stuff. So I've got the Mandalorian. I've got the Razor Crest here. I've got a bunch of Mandalorian stuff, and of course, I love the sequels and Ray and all that. So I've got my Ray shelf up there, but most of this content down in here on my shelf is all Mandalorian, as well as I've got things going over here on the side. Got a whole collection of Mandalorian stuff. I've got the N1 Starfighter from Mandalorian. So there's a ton of things. And the last HasLab is getting ready to ship. I got a notice from Hasbro that says, hey, they're going to be sending out those cantinas, the cantina playset from Tatooine. And of course, that does appear in The Mandalorian. So I went ahead and purchased it. I don't need those figures that come with it. So I'll be uh, selling those, but keeping the figures. And then this one I'm gonna pass on this one. So and I do have the HasLab Ghost that I have just in case it shows up with some Mandalorian carded figures at some point. If it shows up in the Dave Filoni's movie or shows up in some future project that has Mandalorian on the cards, and I need that Ghost, I have it just in case. If down the line determined, you know what, they're not going to put that on a Mandalorian card, I'll let it go, and I'll let some other collector have it. So that's my thing to all of you. If you are a prequels fan and you would love to be able to build out a set around the Battle of Geonosis, pivotal moment in the Clone Wars, in that whole era, the Battle of Geonosis, enormous event. Uh, if you plan to build that out, if you would like to build it out in the future, now's the time to get to HasLab, not later. Make sure you do that. Yes, Star Wars is turning 50 soon. Time flies when you're getting old. No kidding. I am old, and it definitely goes faster and faster. Yes, it absolutely looks fantastic. Um, Speaking of Star Wars turning 50 soon, there's been some news, and I want to touch base. I've seen this make its way through a couple of times, and if you follow Star Wars Meg, I was a guest of Meg. She did an interview with me. We talked for a little over an hour, and she clipped a bit of it to talk about what George Lucas discussed in the San Diego Comic-Con. But today, in news way too early to get concerned about, today, StarWars.com released this story that the 50th, so this is a StarWars.com, the 50th anniversary theatrical release. New Hope returns to theaters for a 50th anniversary. When? April 30th, 2027. Oh, more than a year ago away. We're still plenty far away from this. April 30th, 2027. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars with a re-release of the 1997 classic, back for a limited time in theaters everywhere. It says part of Lucasfilm's year-long 50th anniversary celebration, Star Wars: A New Hope will play in theaters over May 4th holiday, also known as Star Wars Day. So switch on your targeting computer and keep your eyes on StarWars.com for more details, including when and where to buy tickets to this once-in-a-generation event. Well, the question is, which version? Which version? We know recently over in the UK, they had the original theatrical release, which was preserved by the British Film Institute, BFI, and they were able to see Star Wars in its original theatrical release. Super exciting for folks who have never seen it. As Brandon says, I can't wait to see New Hope in theater for the first time ever. Oh, I would love to be able to see what I saw when I was 10. Right? I saw Star Wars in 1977. I was 10 years old. One of my first core memories of a movie in the theater, Star Wars. fantastic, just mind blowing, wonderful experience. So I hope that people get to have this experience in 2027. And which version will they get? Will they get the theatrical release? Will they get the current release, which George Lucas sold to Disney, Disney Plus? Many people kind of get confused about that. Disney did not alter the films, they released what George sold them. So George had done some more tinkering and like put McClunky in there. That wasn't in there before. Um, so um, so there's that. I want to touch base on a couple of things because Meg has covered this and it has made its way out again. Meg covered it again today, and it ties together with this discussion I want to have about A New Hope. And we start here, and you guys are probably already familiar with the controversy as it goes. George Lucas at the Comic-Con talked about his museum that he's opening and all of this art that he has purchased and acquired over time that he's going to display in this museum. And it, Luke Luke's Luke Skywalker's land speeder is going to be displayed, but there's a line in here that is, I've seen Star Wars Theory talk about it. I've seen Meg talk about it. I've seen lots of folks online talking about it. It says at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, George Lucas made his first appearance at the convention. Like 3,000 people were there to hear him discuss. It says on a Hall H panel hosted by Queen Latifah, Lucas discussed his love of art, film, and plans for the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, alongside Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro and Senior Vice President Executive Director Doug Chang. So let's just get into the heart of it. It comes down, they talk about what's going to be displayed and all of that. And you get here, it says, Lucas, who first began collecting art when he was in college, told the audience that part of the idea for the museum came from his affinity for buying art and his aversion to selling it. This is the line that got him in lots of trouble. I refuse to sell his art. This is what he's saying. Art. I refuse to sell art. I'm not the one of the typical high art collectors that buys and sells it off. I could never do that. It's not what I think art is. Well, you sold Star Wars. You sold Lucasfilm. What is Lucasfilm if not an art studio? And what are the assets that were included with that sale of Lucasfilm to Disney? Certainly major pieces of art. Major pieces of art. This hello there, Ben. This George controversy is a huge nothing burger. Every single person criticizing him would sell anything they own if they got offered $4 billion. No kidding, Ben. and I want to talk about this because George is a little inconsistent. And this is what some folks are saying is like, you're completely inconsistent what you're talking about. You've collected this art. Don't you see Star Wars as a work of art? Don't you see movie making as an art form? Don't you see the product that you created is art, yet you sold it? What's up with that, George? I agree with Ben. It's a nothing burger, but I want to. Ben says, I love Star Wars Theory, but don't get me wrong. If he got offered $4 billion from Disney right now, he'd have a $4 billion more dollars from the mouse in his bank account. Yeah. Hey, Theory, we really like what you've built there with Theory sabers. They're really cool. How about $4 billion? Would you sell it to us? Right. I think you probably would. Right. So I want to bring this up because George Lucas has been in this boat before, and it's something that I still have a little bit of a uh, irritation with him about. And many of you probably already know this. You're probably very, very aware of it. But I'm going to share. There's back in the day, long, long time ago, folks, when we we had a guy purchase a whole lot of movies, and he created his own network. And this network he created was called Ted Turner Television, right? Ted Turner Network. He created the Turner Network, right? The Turner Network then had this project where they were going. Yeah, maybe he's referring to the art he bought. I don't know. He's wishy-washy sometimes. He is wishy-washy sometimes. That's what I'm getting to. Ted Turner bought a bunch of movies, a bunch of old black and white movies, and they were using color specialization to go through and colorize a bunch of these black and white movies and then re-release them on his network, his cable channel, as colorized versions of these old black and white movies. Well, that got George fired up. He did not like that one little bit. Yeah, if you read his quote directly, he does say when you purchase art, so he never purchased Star Wars, so it's technically in the clear. That's from a certain point of view, right? Hey, Dawn, hello, good to see you. Yeah, so he got all worked up over Ted Turner colorizing a bunch of black and white movies, and he went in front of the U.S. Congress. That he wanted a bill passed that says, make him stop doing that. I don't like it. I want the original black and whites preserved. And I have it. Oh, I'm going to share with you guys this story. And this is yeah, an article I found. It kind of compiles a bunch of it. We'll put it here, and I want to show you this because some of you may not be aware of the controversy around his point of view regarding art and film, and as it ties into what he said this past weekend. So let me share this. It's kind of a lengthy article. We'll get into a couple pull quotes from it. And let me see if I can make this bigger so that you guys can see sort of what I'm seeing. There you go. That's a little bit better, huh? That's better. Uh, the article is titled "Do as I say, not as I do." Right? George Lucas's quotes on film preservation, and we're just going to get into his points. And he, in 1979 interview with the journalist Alan Arnold, he says, "To me, film is a historical document, and therefore it has practical value. People 500 years from now, or 50, you know, just putting that out there, or 50, right? We'll look at our films, be able to figure out what we were like. They're technological extensions of a derivation from the comic strip." Okay, that's his first statement. So then we get going in 1988, right? This is when he started getting worked up over Ted Turner. He did not like Ted Turner. He did not like what Ted Turner was doing with the colorization of these black and white movies. Super mad, right? So he goes in front of Congress. He went all the way to Congress, where filmmakers like Jimmy Stewart, Steven Spielberg, and Lucas testified on importance to preserve the past. Oh boy, you just wait. He says, "Oh, a copyright is held in trust by its owner until it ultimately reverts to public domain. American works of art," so film is a work of art. He says it right there. "Belong to the American public." Wait, what? They belong to the American public. That's when they enter public domain, right? "They're part of our cultural history." Like 1977 release of the New Hope, right? Star Wars. It says, "People who alter or destroy works of art and our cultural heritage for profit or as an exercise of power are barbarians." They're barbarians. This Ted Turner guy, I hate him, right? He can't be colorized and stuff. He's a barbarian guy. He makes me mad, right? If the laws of the United States continue to condone this behavior, history will surely classify us as a barbaric society. The preservation of our cultural heritage may not seem to be as politically sensitive as an issue when life begins, like, abortion and that kind of thing, or when it should be appropriately terminated. But it is important because it goes to the heart of what sets mankind apart. Creative expression is at the core of our humanness. Art is distinctly human endeavor. We must have respect for it if we are to have any respect for the human race. Boy, he was worked up. He really mad at Ted Turner. These current defacements, that's what he's talking about. He's Ted Turner colorizing these black and white movies. There's a defacement. Telling you, he was all kind of mad. These current defacements are just the beginning. Now, remember, he said this in 1988. All right, that's 1988 in front of Congress. It says today, engineers with their computers can add color to black and white movies. Ted Turner, he's calling him out, right? Change the soundtrack, speed up the pace, or add and subtract material to the philosophical taste of the copyright holder. This is his caveat right here. To the taste of the copyright holder. You can change things. You buy it. You can do whatever you want. Hello there, konnichiwa. Oh, good to see you, Katsuhiko. I'm just butchered that. Tomoko, hello, konnichiwa, konnichiwa. Yeah. If I had to guess, whatever version George officially considers his, probably the one he's getting released, right? Yeah, there were for you movies that look great when they are colorized. So let's. I want to get back here. I've watched Godzilla versus Megalon, 1973. Ooh, that's an excellent movie. Hello, Ray. Hello, my friend. Great to see you. So I want to get back here to this story of George Lucas. Says tomorrow, 1988. So he's talking about in the future. Tomorrow, more advanced technology will be able to replace actors with fresher faces. Oh, you want to talk about de-aging? Oh, what about deepfake? 1988, George Lucas is talking about de-aging, deepfaking, stuff like that, right? Or alter dialogue and change the movement of the actor's lips to match. Like maybe Han Solo doesn't shoot first. Or maybe he adds to Greedo a line of dialogue that says, McClunky, right? McClunky. This is exactly what he's saying. In the future, 1988, he said people will be able to do this stuff. It will soon be possible to create a new original negative with whatever changes or alterations the copyright holder of the moment desires. The copyright holders so far have not been completely diligent in preserving the original negatives of films they control. Well, hello, George. What? Did George completely preserve the original negatives? No. I mean, thank God for the British Film Institute. BFI, God bless you. Because George, this is George Lucas speaking at the U.S. Congress about Ted Turner colorizing a bunch of stuff, and he was all kind of mad about it, right? So here he goes. He says, in order to reconstruct old negatives, many archivists have to go to Eastern Bloc countries where American films have been better preserved, or to BFI, right? He says, in the future, it'll become even easier for old negatives to become lost, be replaced by altered negatives. This would be a great loss to our society. Lost to our society. Now, his caveat, right? His certain point of view, these are public domain works that he's talking about. They become public domain and then somebody buys them. Right? He's not talking about the original content creator. He's talking about copyright holders, but he himself, as the content creator, held the copyright to his work, right, until he sold it. Says, our cultural history must not be allowed to be rewritten. Like, who shot first, George? The public's interest is ultimately dominant over all other interests. And the proof that is even the copyright law only permits the creators and their estate a limited amount of time to enjoy the economic fruits of that work. Yeah, so there's all that, whatever, right? So let me get out of here just a second and address some of these. Apparently, what is it? Apparently, there's a new ride coming from Godzilla -1. Looks really fun. But I guess technically, if you didn't consider the original negatives, his vision, I guess you can view it from a certain point of view. Right, that's the thing. He's like, oh, I'm not talking about the original content creator. I'm just talking about copyright holders. That's his point of view, right? My honest question, though, I've never researched it, but I wonder if anywhere between 83 and 97, George talks about the originals not being his main vision. He does. We're going to get to that in a second. The blaster shot first. Katsura Mufane was character of Anakin itself. Tomoko, konnichiwa. Thank you so much, Tomoko. Appreciate seeing you here in the chat. But you may not know. Many of you do know. We have hosted several Japanese exchange students. We have a special place in our heart for Japan, and it's really special to have some of you with Japanese heritage joining us here for this discussion of Star Wars. So there you go. That's what he said in front of Congress, right? He's all kind of mad at Ted Turner and Ted Turner buying the copyrights to these public works and colorizing. That's the context of what he said. But some of what he said in there applies to himself. He just didn't think about it that way. His context was Ted Turner. And that's the guy, I hate him, right? That's what all of this came about. And that's the context of everything he's saying. He's not saying the original copyright holder or himself, content creator, right? He's not talking about that. But if you read what he said, sounds like it could apply, right? So here we go. We're going to get into the next. Hey, John Cena, Merry Christmas. Good to see you. Thanks so much. So here we go. Let's get into the next point here. It says, Star Wars was my elaborate fantasy. This is 1993, right? 1993. George says, Star Wars was my elaborate fantasy, but its popularity has gone beyond anything I ever had imagined. I hope that you, your children, and your children's children will enjoy experiencing this saga as much as I have. I would love for my children and my children's children to be able to experience the original theatrical release that I saw when I was 10 years old and I went to the theater. But, George isn't talking about that. In 1996, then he says, he was interviewed again about his special editions. So here we go. He's interviewed about his special editions. And it says, Lucas was working on the special editions of Star Wars, which presented a dilemma, and which Lucas himself recognized. He would be altering a culturally significant film. Here we go. This is the interview, 1996. Lucas, in this quote, is uncomfortable with his own actions, expressing some reservation that he is going against his own philosophy. He's got this, conflict within himself, even that he fears this practice could become common. In this example, he acknowledges what he is doing is wrong. Now, this is a little bit of a judgmental thing. He doesn't exactly say that, but you'll see, because we have his quote right here. It says, the only time he would own up to what his special editions represents. He states to Cineflex in 1996, issue 65, on the ongoing construction of this special edition. So he's working on it. He's in the midst of it at the time. He does this interview. In this interview, he said, this is the question. On your special edition, Star Wars, he's doing special editions. They're talking about it. Context matters. And we talked before, he's talking about Ted Turner and that's other stuff. He wasn't talking about his stuff. But there's some stuff he said in there that talked about his core beliefs. And here they're saying he's got this kind of dissonance within himself. Do you expect any backlash from fans who might resent your tampering with a classic? He's asked straight up. He says, I don't know. It's my classic. Right? I own it. I did it. He says, on the one hand, I'm doing this. On one hand, I'm doing it. Not your, I mean, that's mine. Mine. I'll do what I want. While on the other hand, I'm on the Artists' Rights Board, a foundation that's trying to protect films from being changed like this, right? Which I feel very strongly about because with the technology we have today, and I'm gonna flip over here because I pulled this quote. I want you guys to be able to see it. Right? He says here, I'm on the artist board, right? A foundation trying to protect films from being changed, which I feel very strongly about because with this technology we have today, anyone can go back and do this kind of thing. I can sort of see the future, and I want to protect films as they are and as they should be in the context of being on this board. It's important to him, right? It's very important. They should be protected. He says, I don't want to see their formats changed. I don't want to see them re-edited. Dude, right? I don't want to see them re-edited. And I don't want to see what I'm able to do now, which is add more characters and do all kinds of things that nobody even contemplated before. That's his quote. Whew. Yeah. So he says that it's pretty straightforward. Then later he says, I am very concerned about our national heritage. This is 1997. So the last one was 1996. This is 1997. He says, I'm very concerned about our national heritage. And I am very concerned that the films that I watched when I was young and the films I watched throughout my life are preserved so that my children can see them. George, holy smokes. This is what I'm saying. I was 10 years old when I saw Star Wars in the theater. I want my kids, he says it right here. I want my children to be able to see them. Me too. Me too, my guy. Guy, right? This guy. And then it goes on. In 2005, right, so that was 1997, 2005. It says, would color distract from the comedy and make it not funny anymore? Maybe just the fact that they're in black and white makes it funny because their humor is dated. By putting it black and white, it puts in context where you can appreciate it for what it was. If you try to make it in full living color and try to compare it to the Jim Carrey movie, then it's hard for people to understand. But taking something in its form when it was created, update it to something new, can take away the context of comparing things in the era in which it was made. This is really it, right? Comedy made in black and white in 1930 whatever, 1940 whatever, compared to comedy made in 2005. Not the same because culture evolves. What was made in 1977 and what was made in 2025 It's evolved. Even Star Wars, right? Says, as a filmmaker and lover of cinema, I have always appreciated the many disciplines that go into making a film, the props, costume, all the aspects that come together to make the whole as great as the sum of its parts. I have archived all the important pieces of my own films. And I'm a staunch believer it's important that we make an effort to preserve our cinematic heritage before it's too late. There you go. George Lucas, the guy is a walking contradiction. What he said in its celebration about selling art and all of that compared to um, selling Star Wars, talking about the original preserving original theatrical releases of culturally important films, and then changing his Star Wars. That's George. That's George. So is it a big deal? Is what he said at celebration a big deal? Not really. You have to understand who he is and the context in which he's talking. He's never talking about himself or, the dichotomy, the kind of the issues there, right? Ben says, I guess even a modern example of this would be, imagine Christopher Nolan altered The Dark Knight. People would go crazy because that movie is perfect, just like the original Star Wars movies. Not only that, but could you imagine, like, a lot of folks with prequels fans, right? It attacks, it attacks, mm, mm, faux pas. It affects original trilogy fans far greater because he kept monkeying with them, right? He kept changing them. Trilogy fans, you haven't experienced this at the same level that we have. The original trilogy fans. Could you imagine George going back and completely adding a whole new scene? Wasn't in the original prequel trilogy release. He just goes and adds it. And then he goes in and picks another piece and let's say inserts Yaddle into the someplace that she wasn't in the original release. Imagine that he goes in and just changes their dialogue completely. Like, when and this will tie in. You guys will appreciate it, right? But, you've got Sheev talking to Anakin there at the opera house. He says, the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. What if he went back and changed it? And it says, the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. You should go into the archives and read it. What? He could have done that. And that's sort of the things that he did to the original trilogy. Han shot first. Oh, no, he didn't. Well, yeah, he did. I saw it with my own eyeballs. So did millions of people. Right? I'm 31, saw the originals on VHS because my grandma pirated them. Oh, grandma. Pirate grandma. But the majority of my life has been the special editions other than those VHSs. Yeah. So look, you guys, what are we going to see in 2027? I would love to see the despecialized versions. We've heard that they're working on them. We know BFI has them. How awesome would it be for the British Film Institute to take those originals and digitize them, put them back in the vault, and then give that to sell it to Lucasfilm. All of the original theatrical releases. Wow, that would be awesome, right? One of my most iconic memories is I kept going back and forth between the original Star Wars and 1997 at my grandparents' house, and my grandma thought I was crazy because I was comparing them. Oh, good fun, good fun. So people trying to make a controversy out of what George Lucas said. I think it's a stretch. Is he um, a little inconsistent with himself? Yes, he is. And he acknowledged that all the way back in the 90s, right? It's who he is, and he sees it even in himself, and it's part of who he is, part of what he has done. So that's it. That's it. That's all we got. Uh Other news. There's two other pieces I want to cover today. One is these, and then we'll get into the build. We'll get into the build, and I'll address your uh, comments in the chat as we go. Uh, the, they they have these um, titles now, right? The movies, they're working titles. This has kind of made its way around. To me, this is a big nothing burger of a nothing burger. I'm not even going to talk about it much, other than to say, yeah, they've given Taika Waititi's project a working title. Does it mean anything? Absolutely not. It means nothing. It also, they have a working titles for a working title for the John Levy Starfighter movie. Well, we already know the title, right? But this is something they do. Does the title Starfighter tie in at all to the working title for his movie? Let me see, what is it again? It's uh, Tiber Mist and Blue Mist Productions. What's that got to do with Starfighter? Maybe nothing, right? They're just names they come up with. And if you're not familiar, what they do, all of the production companies, all of these, every single one, they create these um, companies, subsidiary companies that are responsible for creation of a movie. And all of the finances go into that company. That is a new company. And if that company goes bankrupt, it isolates the parent company from the bankruptcy of that, right? It's a way for them to insulate themselves, and it's a bookkeeping mechanism to show how money is being allocated, being used, budgets, blah, 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 right? All kinds of stuff like that. So, um, these are production companies. Their names, their working titles, it's used for bookkeeping. It's not a big deal, right? Not a big deal at all. Let's see. Makes me wonder if he felt regret for selling Star Wars. I think he did uh, when he made that white slavers comment. And he's made some comments after there that said he had this original vision, and they've kind of gone a path that's different than his. Meg covered it really well, and people have gotten into the details of that quite a bit. Um, I think there is some remorse, but also he was at a point in his life that he just wasn't going to be able to fulfill his own vision himself. And we all know the way he is with his own vision. George's own vision kind of changed over time. When he created the prequels, he didn't really even care what kind of impact that would have to the original trilogy, trying to keep things consistent with the story arc did not matter to him one iota. He didn't care. So he created them and then just let fans work it out because it's the story he wanted to tell. And, if something he did in the prequels didn't align to something in the original trilogy, work it out. Not his problem. But he didn't care. He just did not care. So that's it. Does he have remorse? I think to a degree, but nowhere near the degree that a lot of people try to spin it up to be. Uh Great. Kind of like how King James changed the Bible to fit his agenda. Oh my goodness, Gray. Yeah, kudos. Absolutely. There are terms, and this goes. You can go into all kinds of biblical study, manuscript study, where the King James Bible, one of the most widely published Bibles in all of history. where they took manuscripts, put it into print, and then distributed it. The original King James version, which now has become the New King James and a new King James and stuff like that. There's been revisions to it. But King James himself, those original manuscripts, as they were translating it, he's like, no, I don't want you to say that. So say this. So in some cases, what they did around that is they didn't translate the word, they just used the word. Right. So I don't want to get too deep into it. We could go in a Bible study about this. I'm just not going to. There's plenty you can go read on it, but that's exactly what happened. King James is just like, I don't like this. Now we have other translations where they've gone back to the original manuscripts and they've interpreted them. They're trans, translated them into English and other languages. So I think there's remorse, but it's not like he gave the company, gave them the company for 4 million, right? 4 billion, right? Like with a B. Yeah. All right. Lastly, a lot of hay has been made this week over Hayden Christensen. He stopped what he was doing and he went and started filming. What's he filming? Ahsoka season 2. Where is he filming it? In the UK. And man, people are excited. Woo-hoo! Hayden Christensen's doing more Star Wars. Couldn't be better. More Anakin in Star Wars. Yes, please. That's what a lot of people are very excited about. I can get into Bible translations and go on and on about it. There's a literal translation, it's word by word by word. If you want to see it's not put in English context. It's like all out of order and everything, but it's word by word, exactly as the original manuscripts. If you want to get accurate, you can get accurate, but reading it's not so easy. So Hayden, Anakin, Ahsoka season 2. Wow. And we did some interviews back in SDCC. There were some interviews. There was some discussion going around. Hayden's been going on around doing different interviews. There's going to be more, and I think Dave Filoni himself has said more Anakin in Ahsoka season 2. Definitely more, like more. You saw on the thumbnail to this video, there's a picture of a mountain there. I'm just gonna go open that. I'm gonna open my thumbnail to show you guys this. I'm gonna open the thumbnail and I'm gonna share it with you here. It's opening in Photoshop. I don't want to open it in Photoshop. I want to open this in the browser. Let's see if I can do this. I want to open with let me find a second. Choose another app. How about Firefox? Sure, let's just do that just this time. And then I can share this with you guys. I don't care, Firefox. Go away. Shush. Shoo! Be quiet. All right, I want to show you. I want to share this with you. Let me go in here, share screen, this, and that. Loading, and boom. Here you go. See this mountain over here? Right there? Right in the middle. If you have watched Star Wars animation, this mountain, see the mountain range behind it as well? See all these mountains and that big mountain in the middle? This is Mortis. This is Mortis. What do we know from Ahsoka season 1? I mean, just what do we know from Ahsoka season 1? At the very end, we see Balin out there on the outstretched arm of the Father. It's a figure from the Mortis gods, from this Mortis arc this story arc that's in animation. This is a major storyline that has many fans just mesmerized. Right? The whole arc and the impacts of it, the implications of it. What's it mean? And deeper meanings. Ahsoka actually dies in Mortis, for real dies, like for realsies, dead, and she's brought back to life. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around it. And there's this little owl that follows her around now, um, tied to the life that was given to bring Ahsoka back to life. All this stuff happens. I bring this up because this mountain range, and the Mortis gods are established. This is established in Ahsoka season 1. There's no speculation here. I'm not sharing anything that's not known, right? This is all stuff that exists. And my point is Ahsoka season 2, if you've watched animation and you know what Mortis is, well, good for you. What if you don't, though? What if you've never heard of Mortis and those big statues look like something from Lord of the Rings? Right? Like what? What? Where's the Lord of the Rings crossover? What? 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 I don't understand these big statues. What are that's about? You need to like a huge a huge population of Star Wars fans have no context, zero context for those statues. And when you tell them, oh, they're the Mortis gods, they're like the who? The what? Never heard of that before. I don't know what you're talking about. And you know what else? They're not going to go back and watch animation. They're just not. So Ahsoka season 2, Mortis God. Who are they? What's that about? Well, they've got to tell you. They've got to tell you. If you watched animation and you're familiar with the Mortis arc, you know that Ahsoka, Anakin, Obi-Wan are critical figures in that story. And that story involves a younger version of Ahsoka. Right? So it's just it, it well, look, yes, show, don't tell. You're underestimating general audiences. Just show weird Mortis stuff and they'll go along. Right, right. No, I agree with you, Joel. My point is that the general audiences have never heard of it. So what do they need to do? They need to show, right? So what they're going to do in Ahsoka season 2 is exactly what you're saying, Joel. They're going to go show the weird stuff from Mortis, but they're going to show it. They're not going to tell. They're going to show. So who do you need? Who do you need to tell that story? You need to have Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. You have to. If you're going to show them, you need the younger version of Ahsoka. And we've heard that Ariana Greenblatt is in Ahsoka season 2. You need Anakin. We've heard Anakin's going to have a much bigger presence in Ahsoka season 2. And you need Obi-Wan. There have been rumors that Ian McGregor is going to be in Ahsoka season 2. Well, it makes total sense. Makes total sense. They're going to show the Mortis arc. They're going to inform the general audience what these things are. Because right now they have no clue. There's no clue, right? Thank you for the super chat, Joel. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your input. Absolutely perfect. Right on point, right? Yeah, they're going to tell it. To be fair, I think they've done a good job keeping a lot of the inside baseball stuff surface level. 95% of people didn't know who Ahsoka is, right? But they kept it to the surface level with her and Mando. Exactly. Inside baseball stuff can work for both crowds. You can do a deep cut stuff, but also keep surface level. They need to retell they need to retell the Mortis arc in some context. Will it be, 3 episodes of the season? Absolutely not. But will they reenact parts of it to show people this Mortis arc, to show people who these statues are, to show people what it's about. And you remember Balin standing on that outstretched arm of the father, and he's looking out, and there's this big mountain range. And that big mountain range, way off in the distance, there's a peak there with a light on it. There's a peak out there with a light on it. Look here. Mountain range with a big old mountain, right? A big peak sticking up. I think what he's looking at is Mortis. I think where we're headed is the Mortis arc, and we're going to see it. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I'm just putting into some context for some of you what this is all about, right? There's more to it. And some of the speculation has been kind of way out there, so way like ridiculous. They need to retell Mortis. So when you see it, when you just think about it for a minute, it makes sense. Thrawn kill. Oh, that could be smelly. Oh, hilarious. Cowabunga, Leonardo. Hello. Good to see you, Leonardo. Thanks so much. But if I see Ian as his Clone Wars self, I might freak. Well, you should see Ian in that context in the Mortis arc, right? Go watch the Mortis arc. I'll remind you. I'm excited for more Anakin, but I'm really excited to see where Balin is. Well, he's going to head to Mortis, where he's headed. It has to be retold some way or another. I don't get paid enough to figure out the story. I'll leave it to Dave, right? Have Ahsoka give a recap of the arc to Sabine. $2 super chat. Thank you, Joel. Yes. So we've been hearing about flashbacks, and Ahsoka's a grown woman, right? And if Ariana is going to be playing the younger version of Ahsoka in the Mortis arc, like a real Ahsoka in the Mortis arc, who dies and gets resurrected, and the owl follows her around, it would make sense that flashback, including Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ariana, right? Ahsoka would be there. That'd be perfect. And it'll be a flashback. It'll be a retelling of the Mortis arc. And you're going to see those actors in that context. Is there going to be a lot more Anakin? Yeah, because the Mortis arc involves a critical story arc with Anakin and a decision that he had to make, right? Joel, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really, truly appreciate it. The super chats are amazing. It does a great deal for me. It does a great deal for the channel. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And I may have missed some context with the earlier super chat. So I'm just going to go back to make sure. No, I got it. Perfect. Thank you. Gonna head off. Have a great weekend. Well, have a great weekend, Fitz. You know what? Right here in Columbus, Ohio, we're having the Irish Festival this weekend, the Dublin Irish Festival. It's one of the largest Irish festivals in the United States. In fact, it may be the largest Irish festival. We bring all kinds of acts, performers and stuff from Ireland to perform here. The big deal. Wait, here's an idea. What if the one robot from last season tells the story to Sabine? Oh, yeah, Xwing. Yeah, it could be Hugh. It could absolutely be. Mordor is calling. So there you go. There's the context for you guys. So any kind of speculation about Anakin and Ahsoka season 2, there you go. I've spoon fed it. I've gone deeply into it. I think that's it. Dawn says, Samantha. I met Samantha. I know who Samantha is. Told me to say, I hope they better not take away those movies and shows. I recently made her watch Errol Flynn as Robin Hood. She liked it. How about that? That's cool. That's cool. All right. I'm going to continue to read your chats, and I'm going to at least do a step of this Xwing. So we're going to get into this and make sure that I'll kind of keep watching here. You guys want to talk more about we can absolutely talk more about. But I'm going to bring this up here. I've got the overhead camera right there. Hi, it's me. Uh, we've got here we've got this Xwing. This for just as a reminder, this is the there it is right there. Right? It's a card stock model kit, the T-65 Xwing Starfighter. And this is released by Disney. And if you look at the details, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red stripes. This is red 5, standing by. Right there it is with the Death Star 2 right there behind it. Real big. 2027 is going to be legendary. Yes, we've got Celebration coming up in Los Angeles. Going to be great. So here's what you get inside the box. There's here's the instructions. It says right on it, detail, easy to assemble, easy to assemble, and it's designed for display. And it came with bottle of glue, so we can kind of glue it as we go, because you're going to see here in a second. Here's step one. So we're going to try to do step one here, and I'll show you some of the pieces as we go. I'm not going to show you this the whole time, but I'll put, it says here, we need sheet A right there. And there's 6 cardstock sheets and glue. So I'll show you here. Here's what we have. Here's sheet A right there. And then we've got the rest of them here. B, you can see we got some cockpit stuff there in B. Here's sheet C, 3 of 6. More stuff. Here is 4 of 6. Right there's our wing. There's red 5 right there. 5 of 6. We got the turret, and then there's a 6 of 6. So we're just going to get into sheet A. Set these to the side, and Trucker Mark, look who made it! I really love the episode called Shadow Warrior from Ahsoka. Great story and acting. $10 super chat. Trucker Mark, good to see you, my friend. Trucker Mark looks like me. We're brothers. We're good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the super chat. Amazing, amazing super chat. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yay, shipbuilding. I cannot wait to see Ahsoka and Hayden as Anakin. I'm joking. They tie more of the Clone Wars in at some flashbacks and training fades. It turns to be. Yeah, we'll see. Let's just say the World War II gliders could get a 7. Yeah, Trucker Mark is a Santa-looking fella, right? So I want to show you guys this. This is the main fuselage here for the X-wing, and what this is in step A. I kind of looked at it ahead of time, and you'll see like on the back side, these things are marked on the back side as well, right? So the double-sided this way. Max, hello. Oh, good to see you, Max. Thanks so much. Hopefully we get Jason on here again soon. His daughter Penny had COVID last I talked to him, so I'm sure she's recovered by now. But I haven't talked to him in a little over a week. So, but you'll see on this card stock, this goes all the way through the split in the card. If I turn it over this side here, this has me concerned because look, it goes right through here and it's split. Like the card stock is split right along that fuselage. Kind of precarious. It's got a piece of like material holding it together. Right here it's just folded, but this side it is clearly split. So thus the glue. Right? We want to make sure that when we start to assemble this, that that doesn't come apart. And it's got braces and things to help hold it together. So we get into step 1. We need to get both of these pieces out, both of these long pieces. So look here what I've got. Because Santa needs help when we get up close. Oh, oh, I can't see. So here we go. We're gonna take these. Oh, I got a smudge on them. Can't see. Hold on. we're gonna separate these pieces from the cardstock. I wanted to show you guys. Um, so I wanted to show you sort of the situation there, and be careful about getting these out because I know that split is in there, and that split is pretty significant, right? We got to get this out without ending up with two pieces, right? We want one nice intact fuselage, and it goes right through the middle here. And now, not many, just these two pieces go through this middle piece that's got the split on it. So I think this is the most dangerous element. We get this punched out, and it should get significantly easier there, right? So get in here, get this guy separated from the back. Right. All right. So here we go. I'm being super careful. I think it'll get a lot easier for future steps because they won't have that split going through the middle. I'm just worried about that split, like this coming apart in two pieces. Okay. I think I got it. There's one piece holding on. Let go. No, let go. Uh, here, this guy. Look, there we go. First piece. There you go. There it is. Again, that split right there worries me to death. This piece looks okay this way. All right, next we get the other half of this fuselage. The main spine of the Xwing. It runs all the way from the front to the back. The spine is sort of critical element in able to hold it together. And I want to make sure that we don't damage it. Volcano rock is fire. I saw a thing about worst planets to live on in the Star Wars galaxy, and Mustafar was on the list. Could you imagine that? Of course, Mustafar was on the list. All right. So, what do you think? Should I put the piece of like a little bead of glue right in there to hold that? Right. I think I should. Mumbo Jimbo. Good to see you. I saw Mumbo Jimbo briefly on Wednesday on our weekly supporters call. Jim has been participating. So I'm just going to put a little bead of glue right on here because this thing looks, hold on a second. Glue's not coming through the, okay. Yep, of course. Hold on. There's a cap in here holding the glue from coming out. All right, there we go. Got the cap out. Now the cap's sticking to my finger. There. All right, there we go. We'll get this cap and set it to the side. And then I'm going to just put a little bead of glue right in here. I want to make sure that, there we go. Easy. Not much, just a little. I'm going to try to hold that together. I'll use my finger. Smudge it in there a little bit. I just want to smudge a little bit of glue in there to kind of hold that together. And I'll do the same on the other side too. Things got me. All right. Hey, just a little bead. Just a little bit. Don't need much. Because it is cardstock after all. And it should hold. All right, there we go. All right, next step. All right, we got to get these pieces here. A3 and A4, A2, 1, and 15. That's weird, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 15. Of course. Why would they be in order? So we need a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 50. Oh, thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. It says the supporters calls on Wednesday are a great time. Thank you. Thank you. Look, I apologize for folks that were there this Wednesday. I missed a big portion of it because work. All right, so let's find. Here's A1 right there. These should pop right out pretty easy. I'm not as worried about them um, because they're not on that split. There's A1. Right. Here's A2 here. Get this out. There. Get that separated out. Ugh. Go. There we go. There's 2. Here's 3. A3 out. There we go. 4 is right next to it. A4 out. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 15. 15 is right next to 12. 1, 2, 12, 15. Uh, so there you go. A15. I had to double check. That doesn't say 13, does it? No, it says 15 right on it. Right next to 12 and next to 16. 12, 13, 15, 16. No. Okay, there we go. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 15. There we go. That's it. That's all we need. So I'm going to set this to the side and we'll, yeah. You're going to see Santa putting together toys. Yeah, fantastic. Here you go. All right. So this says take these 2 pieces right here, and they go this way. This side up. That little red dot goes up, and this is A5 here, 5, and then this is A9 right here, right? 5 and 9, and they go right next to each other like this because they're going to make the central spine of the Xwing. And then it says put 3, A3 right here, this guy, and it's going to go. There's a little spot here, and it says 3 connects parts 1 together. So you got A1 and A1 right here, 1 and 1. 3 connects those 2 together. And you see the 1 right here. And this is part A3 right there, but it connects 1 and 1. So we'll just put that right in there like this. 1 and 1. Ugh, come on. We'll get them. Get it sliding down in there. Like that. See? There we go. How about that? We get that put in there. Get it seated. There. 1 and 1. Okay. And then we take A4 next. Here's A4. And it's got a 2 on it right there. Come on. Follow me. Follow me, camera. Oh, it's blurry. Right here. Come on. It's got a 2. Trust me on that. Because it doesn't want to focus. Here, focus. Find it. There it is. There it is. There's the 2. Got some black tabs there on the side. You can see it says A4 with the 2 on it. So we're going to connect 2 and 2. Right? There's 2 right there. It's going to go right there. These together. Right? 2 and 2. Ah, there we go. Those are seated. right in there. All right. And then what's next? A2. This little guy right here. This little guy here. A2 connects 3 and 3. So we come on here and we find 3 is all the way at the nose. Right? There's 3. So we're going to put it way up here at the nose. 3 is going to connect with part A2. I don't know how to get these numberings sometimes, you know? What? Like, you got 2 sets of numbers gone and A's. So there you go. That sticks right in there. And then we need A1. Here's A1. Of course, it's got a 4 on it. So A1 connects 4. There. Stick it right in there. There we go. Easy peasy. Boy, that assembled really easily. That went right in there. Super easy. And then the last piece, A15, right here. A15's got a 5 on it. Right? And we're going to connect 5 to 5. 5 is right there. Right? 6. Right in here. Snug this guy in there. Sorry about that. There you go. So now we got a couple pieces on the top holding it, and we got these bottom pieces. The spine is coming together. That was step 1. Right there. We finished that. What's on step 2 here? Let's go ahead and get these pieces out. I think I can finish this one because this has gone really well. I just need to get let's see, 7, 7, 13. Okay, here, hold on. I'm gonna forget. Okay, so let's get the card back out. All right. So I need A7. Where's 7? There's 6. There's 7 right there. Right? We got to get A7. Right? Here it is. A7. And then we need A13. Now 13 was over here. There's 16. There's 12. There's 13 right down here. Right? 13 is, you guys can't see it. It's all the way down here. Punch this guy out. Now this one looks like it's got a little extra punch holes in it. We'll take a look. Then I need, what else we got? We've got 8, 11, and 16. All right, I need 8. That's 12. There's 16. Okay, so we'll pop out 16 right there. Okay, need 8 and 11. All right, so let's see, where's 8 and 11? There's 11, found 11, all the way over here. That one out. There. Ugh. And then, there we go. And then I need 8. And I think that's this one right here. Yeah, there's 8 right there. All right. So there we go. We got these out. And then that's these. Here's 12, 2, and 11. A12. Okay, there's A12 right here. There's A12. And then it says B2 and B11. Uh-oh. Here's A17. Let's go ahead and get that one while we're on the A sheet. We need A17 right here. This big piece. And then, let's see. I think that's all the A's. A11, 16, and then 12, and we got a couple B's. A17, which I just punched out. and then a couple more B's. All right, so we got to get the B sheet out. Why can't we just do the A's first? So we get the B sheet. Okay, let's take a look and see if we can find a couple of these pieces right here. We need B2 and B11. So B2 is right there at the top. Okay. B2 is right here. Take that. Pop it out. And we need B11. Search on here to find B11. There's 17, 13, 14, 15. Oh, look, there's R2. Right next to R2, B10. How do you do that? Anyway, R2, you make a B10. You don't even do it as D2. There's a B11 right there. We'll take this out. And then we need to find B2 still. Okay, B2. No, I found B2 and B11. Okay, now I need B1 and B5. I think that's right here. Yep. They're these big pieces. There's big ones right here. B1 and B5. Okay. Here's B1. We'll punch it out. Wow. Okay. Something's holding on. Let go. What is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, there. All right. There we go. That one. And then we got to get this one out. Here. There. That one came out easier. All right. There's all the pieces. All right. So I'll set the card to the side. We'll come back to these next time. I just want to finish this page and then we'll call it a day, my friends. We'll call it a day after this. All right. So first step here, I need to take A7 and attach A13 to it. Okay. So this was A7 right here. Right. And then A13 is this little guy here. Now, what has me concerned about this one are these little things here. Right. You see that? I think these two pieces are going to have to punch out. And I think it would be easier to punch them out now than later. So I am going to take, I've got an X-Acto knife here. I'll take this. I'm just going to punch these little pieces out because I think those are going to be a hassle once I attach them and once they kind of get embedded in things. There we go. See, I got that one emptied. We'll just empty this one like that. Punch that out. All right. Okay. We take A7 and A13 and we just attach them. The end. Oh, it doesn't want to stay. All right, so we're going to have to put a piece of glue here. Let's see. We're going to put a piece of glue right in. This is not going to attach. Right, so I'm going to put a little bead of glue right here. Right there. Just a little dab. Tiny little dab of glue right there. I'll put another dab right on the other side. Just a little piece. Right, don't need much. Just enough to get that guy to hold on. And then touch it. Right, I'm going to hold it just for a minute. You can kind of see that glistening in there. The glue's dry in there. Let's a little bit. We'll set this down and then move to the next piece. What's it want? We go back to this main body here. And we need to attach A8, 11, and 16 in that order. So A8, there's 16. Let's see. There's 8 right there. And 8 has a 6 on it. Because why wouldn't 8 have a 6 on it? Ah, right. Why wouldn't it have a 6 on it? A6 have a 6 on it. I don't know. A8 has a 6 on it. We'll hit it right there. And now we need, here we go. A11. A11, naturally has a 7 on it. Because why wouldn't it? 711 makes sense to me. If you, why wouldn't A7 be on A11? Because, I mean, 711. Oh, this one's being a little precarious. Okay. Yeah. All right. This one sticks up a little bit, but that's the best it goes. And there it goes. And then we take the last one. Here it is. 16. 16 has an 8 on it. Half of 16 is 8. I don't know. Numbering seems like it could be easier. It seems like there could be more, like, this, I don't know. I don't know, my friends. There you go. That goes there. We're making this centerpiece kind of rigid. So then we take 12, A12. Let me find it. 17. There's the B11. This must be 12 here. Okay, there's A12. And A12 has a 9 on it. And it goes in here. Holding the 9s together. Right there. Right. And then we need B2. Okay, B2's here. And we're going to put that right where the 10s are. B2 holds the 10s together. Like that. We just slide it in there. Nice. Then B11 has the 11s on it. Look at that. How about that? Imagine 11s. And then lastly, we've got not exactly last. There's A17. It's got the 12s. So we're just working our way through. There. Hold on. I'm not paying attention. Yeah, this looks like this goes this way. This goes this way. All right. In here. Oh, that one's a bit of a difficult. It's a bit difficult. Now we got 2 more. We've got B1. That's not it. Okay, there's B1. B1 has got 2 edges. See that? It's got a, getting a focus camera, got a 13 side and a 17 side. Right? So what we want are the 13s. So we've got to connect the 13s together with the 13, right? Like that. Right? And make it so it's easier not to get it like upside down. Right? You want to make sure you're getting it correct. Yeah. And then we got one more B5. B5 likewise has a 14 and an 18 on it. We want to put the 14s together right there. 14s. These 14s go together here. Kind of fits in tight. There we go. Just like that. Just like that. We're all we've got the base assembled. Right. So there we go. I'm going to leave it there for today. Right. Trucker Mark, master builder. There you go. There you go. So the first part done. First part done. And then we finished steps 1 and 2. It looks like this piece here is, that I glued has got to dry a little bit. So they intentionally set that aside so that it can be done later. And then next we'll pick up on steps 3 and 4. These are a bit more involved, but we'll get to those next time. All right. So thanks for hanging out with me. The super chats. Thank you so much for the super chats today. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. You guys are the best. I've had fun hanging out with you. And I hope that things make a little more sense. We start to talk about Anakin in season 2 and George Lucas. And is he consistent in what he says? No, not always. But is that okay? I reckon. I mean, it's George. What are you going to do? So thank you all for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day, wonderful, amazing weekend. And I can't wait to talk to you next time we get together when there's more Star Wars news to talk about. Until then, my friends, I will say, ho, 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 Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye bye now.